I chucked that there yesterday afternoon, it's down to about half. We're averaging about 2 days per little bag of chicken guts mince. We're really slamming into it, ain't we, kitties? Anyway, it's the best start you're going to have for life as opposed to eating the crapo bloody biscuit. Let's have a look at this brand of biscuits on there. Holy smoke! That's just this morning's achievement. Oh, there's a maxi cat. Now, a lot of these are... don't you go getting excited and jump in. They don't often tell you the ingredients. Well, sometimes they do. But prime fish meal, maize gluten meal, corn, poultry oil, poultry digest, whatever the friggin' hell that means, vegetable oil, fish oil, diethyl phosphate, get out, lysine, taurine, ferrous sulfate, zinc sulfate, blah 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 blah. Vitamins A, D3, E, K, B1, B2, B6, B12, niacin, biotin, you know. Basically, by the time we get past prime fish meal, maize gluten meal, corn, poultry oil, poultry digest, that's the bulk of it is right there. It's just corn, poultry, and fish. All the guts and the crap. Bit of vegetable oil, a bit of fish oil, and the rest of it is basically like a giant vitamin pill. It's not the best you could have. They pass it off as premium. You can tell it's not. You know one way to tell if something's premium versus not? This isn't a 100% indicator, but it's about a 90% surety indicator. It's the quality of the packaging. That gives away so much. Like, this bag's one of these ones that you could probably tear pretty easily. You know, if there's a sharp bit on the drum here, it could just tear and it'd be crap. It'd just rip open. And also the amount of colours they use on the packaging. There's a really bad one that my uncle used to get. It was literally... it was like 4 colours, black, white, I think brown and red or something like this, you know. And when you get better stuff, you have a better quality of packaging, a hell of a lot more detailed pictures where you can see the cat whiskers, you know, and they actually have a go, you know, as this ain't too bad here. That's a bit of Friskies I've got. Like a lot of things in life, I tend to stock up something chronic. That bag of Friskies, I think, about, what is it, 13 kilo one this time? Oh! I don't know. I think it's about 13 kilo. No, usually says. Not looking hard enough. That's bullshit. It usually always says. You guys can probably see it, and I'm just completely going past it without seeing it. But I think it's about 13 kilo. We're talking about 26, 27 pounds. That one's 8 kilo. The so-called premium that's not premium. I've got heaps of the mince in the freezer, which I'm currently feeding them. I get another bag from your parents' place that I've got in their freezer. I've got 3 kilo packs, which is like 2.2 pounds, backed up here. That's the backup in case I run out altogether. I don't touch that. They're pretty shit, cheap brand, that one. But yeah, the big bag I just showed there, that's a reasonably alright-ish brand. But at the moment, I think mince is the go because we've got the cool weather and we've got the kittens that are trying to grow up and need a decent amount of real meat in their diet to grow up to be proper kitties, not bloody vitamin pill and corn maze kitties, eh? Well, the rain's been alright. She's all up and running. Just doing a bit of laundry there again. I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it quite alright, but there's the waterproof fuse holder. Put a saddle clip there to sort of bundle up a few of the cables. Siliconed it all. So it's overcast as hell. And the sun, I can't even see the damn sun, but just somewhere that general direction. Yesterday it was sort of like peering through that tree there. It wasn't really coming through, but even though it's overcast, quite surprised how overcast it is that it's still actually running. The fan's 0.38 amps and the solar panel thinks 0.59. The way they make it 10 watts, you're thinking, hang on, 12 volts times 0.59 is not 10 watts. Well, it's like about 20.5 volts it's supposed to come through. And yeah, there's a bit of a voltage change from, you know, by the time that's under load it might drop to 19 volts or something like that. But that's only supposed to be 12, 14 volts ballpark. It's a higher voltage, but generally speaking they last quite a long time regardless of the fact it's slightly higher voltage, because it seems to handle it all right. It's not the best, but plenty of people have done it without repercussion, and so shall I. Anyway, panels on that side so that it gets access to the sun during the right parts of the day, and it's basically, as this part of the roof gets heated, then that panel comes under light. Then it draws the hot air out, and it sucks it through in there, that line there. That's where the wall was that I got the silver paper on that I've got to put the polystyrene on hopefully today. That's got no palings on it except for like about 3 or 4 when you get up higher. But you can actually go in there and have a look up and you can see the insulation bats inside the ceiling space for the bedroom because of this gap that's about, 2 foot wide gap that goes along the top, and that's where it draws the air through and spits the hot air out the back. I'm actually quite surprised that it's running because of how overcast it is. Generally I wouldn't have thought it would get much go. Might be a little collapsed. That was from the winds about a month back or whatever through that branch down there. There was a video I made where I had to edit it with the voiceover because I was stuffed up because I had the audio off. I showed that in that, but I just edited it out. But there it is. Yeah, it come off that one there about a month or 2 back. I'll just show it now. But yeah, anyway, as the hot summer sun builds up there, it'll suck it out. And apparently, you don't even need to have a bright sky for the thing to run. But which sort of surprises me. Here's the old rose. The size of the bloody thing. This was dormant for ages. This is, I believe, planted in 1920s. We've got a photo of the old guy back in the 20s, the Depression, around that time. It's my... can't exactly work it out, to be honest. It's like a second cousin of my grandfather or something, sitting right at that door. And you can see all this chicken wire, and they got like stuff, probably some of this jasmine plant or whatever, wound up, and some of this too. And this was higher, like this was up another 1 foot or 2, and I cut it, just lopped it with a chainsaw. Almost going to lop it off at ground level, but I just lopped it with a chainsaw, and when I was fixing the place up, and bada bing, she come back. But the flowers are those crappy sort of ones I had in the 20s that only last for a few days and all the petals fall out, and they're not very big. But I'll tell you what, she's definitely come back. It's sort of helped a lot by the fact it's grown up behind the old gutter there. Needs a bloody trim. But anyway, I'm glad it come back. That was dormant for 20 or 30 years or something, you know. During the time my uncle was here, from 98 to 2010, nothing. Didn't grow at all. And give it a trim, off she goes. Unbelievable. It's probably no longer poisoned by the dog shit. And now it's got a chance. Just to be poisoned by the kitty shit. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, little tiddlers? Your mum and your dad used to play behind this. His father's supposed to get this. He's nagging me about getting stuff out of his shed, and this and those two stupid doors are still here 6 months later. Oh well, I'm going to get back to the washing. These are these other plum trees with the purple plums. I had about 2 or 3, and they grabbed the rest. And that was before I went to my sister's, and now they grabbed the whole bloody lot of them. I put this around here, and those around there, to stop the rabbits tearing into the base, and it worked. There's actually 2 of them outside, one there, and another one through there, sort of getting attacked by the boxthorn and the Madeira vine, so... Yeah, really needs a bird net. First year, these come up. Well, the first year I was here, they didn't do anything. The second year, the kangaroo got the lot, and then the birds have been getting them all since then. But they're real quite nice plums. They're sort of big purple ones. Not the cherry plums, but yeah. One day I might put some bird net on, but then I'll be worried about tangling it all in all the frickin' boxthorn. We'll work something out one day. When we get rid of this damn boxthorn, then I'll definitely work something out about trying to get these productive. It may involve a fair bit of bird netting. Oh, smoke. Oh, shit. I found the top of this creeping through the dirt, just that piece there, and started sort of digging it up, and then I sort of got that underneath and yank up and basically hammer it upwards into this piece. Look at the fucking thing. I don't know what it is, but I've got a very good idea. It'll be something to do with onion planting equipment. Probably something to do with smoothing down the soil after the seed has come through or something. Don't think it'll be anything to do with trying to lift them out from under the ground, because that was sort of, well, that wouldn't be thick enough to do it really. Not with an edge like that anyway. Looks like a bloody giant machete or something. Yeah, there's a lot of old gear. Sort of sunk into the ground here and there. And a lot of it is plough stuff associated with all the onion growing that used to go on this property back in the day. I just can't believe that was actually stuck in the ground straight down like that. I mean, that's fucking whack. As you can tell, it's all dry. It's because it's dry deeper down. It's only the surface that's wet from raining. I just can't believe it was actually speared straight downwards, though. That's weird. It's very strange. And then again, maybe it was something that was designed to go into the ground. Anyway, I may or may not start loading all this old shit. Yeah, let's see if we do the polystyrene or what. I might do the polystyrene later on at night, because I can do it later on at night, or when it's raining, and at the moment it's not. It's sort of a bit of a intermittent thing, but anyway, I've got to hang me washing out. It's for sure. Well, the generator's off, so you should be able to hear that now. God blimey, I could hear it out near the water tank. She's not quiet. I'll put it like that. That's definitely going to be moving a bloody hell of a lot of air. You hear it speeding up? Sun's getting brighter. Well, clouds are moving or whatever, and the sun's getting brighter. And you can actually hear it pacing up as a result. With that little water pump that I got, the little 1/2-inch pipe thingy, vinyl pipe, that's sort of got like a switching transistor in a little box on the back of the little panel, so it'll sort of actually start up and then stop and start up and stop depending on your light levels, and you can actually hear it boom, kick in, and then you walk in front of the panel, it just stops, and then boom. Whereas this is just a direct straight wiring. And when you have direct straight wirings like that, as your sun gets, you know, better, your amps in your panel increase, and as your amps increase, then it automatically just speeds it up based on how many amps are feeding through from the panel. And yeah, it's going to become a ubiquitous noise around here, I think, hearing that thing running. Didn't do too badly there. It's about 7 1/4 mil. 6 1/4 mil is 1/4 inch. Yeah, fortunately the damn thing actually remained upright this time. I'll give that a little tippity tip out. Alrighty. There's my father's little patch up, so I don't know if I showed that before or not. Good day to finally get rid of these old bastards. These are all going to be tangled in like shit, I can guarantee it. Yeah, they would have gone last year if the damn green grass hadn't grown through the bloody things and I couldn't pull them out by hand. But anyways, bit of luck, it looks like they're going now. Decided to do this instead of the, what's his name, polystyrene on the wall, because, well, you know, if it starts raining I can do that, and I can also do that at night because I have a light in there. While it stopped raining, I'd like to get on with a bit of this sort of gear. Yeah, so anyway, we'll do this, and I might charge on with inside stuff at night instead. Alrighty, I might as well talk about what I'm thinking about. You know, so I've got a couple of reasonable little bits of rod and whatnot. Yeah, I have a bit of scrap metal laying around, as you guys might know. I'm not talking gangly shit with no use. You guys have probably noticed there's bits of sheet metal round. Sometimes you even see corrugated iron sheets. And aluminium, you know, and steel, all of which is reusable. Now this stuff is just crap, it's not reusable. But 3/8 of an inch / 10 mil bolts can be salvaged to use for other things. And you say, oh yeah, but you can't undo that. No. You use this to weld other things together, to fix other things and stuff like that. In all this, I've got too much of this crap lying around my house. Now, some of it is over in my stash over there. I've got a whole, oh hell, you might as well see it, whole shitload of roof sheets. Some of this here, my uncle got an idea to make a shed only because somebody half talked him into it and he felt he had to do it. We pulled all these out with a loader and a chain noosed around them. You know, that shit is good fucking steel. I mean, look at that. That shit is 3/8 itself, you know. It's decent bits of pipe. Hell of a lot of roof sheets, cool room panels, friggin' bathtubs, blah, 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 and even the kitchen sink. Now, in all that, oh, here's more. Probably should fuck these off. These are mag wheels. They're usable, but I think they put a lock into one of those, and it's not so great. I don't know if you could belt that out or what, but yeah, they're magnesium anyway. I think you get a little bit more money for them. I know people sometimes want mag wheels and stuff like that, but yeah, you know, you get the idea. I've got some that's a lot flatter than this stuff, and the trouble is though, it's all hanging around the house, you know, and there's a bunch. There's a bit more there, and I've got steel plate and shit even further there. And the thing is that a lot of this stuff Originally, I took over tons of this stuff. Well, not tons, but about a trailer full of reasonable, usable stuff to my father's place, because he has a whole area that's just metal for the purposes of being able to reuse at a later point when he needs to weld something else together. And that tank stand of mine, yes, the pipe on that was bought at a clearing sale of a farm. Actually, it was a farm that was linked into Chinese Boss's vineyard that was owned by the previous owner, and in an attempt not to go bankrupt, which he eventually did anyway, he sold that farm that was next door that he'd bought and sort of incorporated in the house with it, and of course got rid of a lot of shit in the process, some of which was the pipes on that, and that has gone to make my tank stand. What I've been thinking is, the trouble is some of the stuff you lay out here, and if you don't watch it, the damn sheep kick the shit from here to Mars and it's halfway down the paddock. Now, I have a fenced off area where my little trees are in. Guess what? No sheep go in there. I should get the remaining worthwhile scrap metal that I have, the heavy bolts and other bits and pieces, some of which I'll be plucking out today, and literally dump them in with the trees there, so that I've got them here, and at times I do use aluminium here because I can cut it with an angle grinder, drill holes in it, and screw/bolt it all together to make stuff up, and even, well, what holds the return overflow pipe from the overhead tank is aluminium from around here that quite literally was just zip-tied, bolted, screwed, and cut with an angle grinder, you know, and completely made here. No welding at all. And usually I end up doing that with the aluminium only, but not the steel. But all the same, yeah, I might as well get the steel and the aluminium and this, well, might have to work out another spot to put the sheet metal, like next to the roof sheets back there, and store it there, so that we retain the worthwhile stuff that we can use for later times without the sheep kicking it all down the paddock or getting half buried under, you know, the mud and all that sort of shit. So anyway, I'll be plucking out a few more bits of those. I've got about 4 or 5 horseshoes. I have an idea of what I might be able to do with those, because they are genuine ones from back in the day, and, you know, partially worn out to show that they obviously had a bit of use back in the day. And yeah, a couple other bits and pieces that I will hang on to, including what looks like the mate to the bolt I showed you before. That's molten aluminium melted over some old bed springs. It's actually pretty common for me to melt aluminium when I've got a decent fire going. My gold-plated thimble. The shit you find. No, I think it's brass. That would have come out of the... there's probably no brass. That would have come out of the stuff that my grandfather had, because a lot of what I'm loading up now is at my father's place. It was all the old shit from my grandfather. Oh, the way it's going, I don't even know if I've got to get much of my own stuff on. I'll get my own stuff on, only joking, but I tell you what, we are not going to get all of his stuff and all of my stuff. I might have to leave behind a little bit of sheet metal, and we're going to have to leave behind at least this one. And a few more bits of sheet metal that if I stuck on the top now would just catch and just get blown away. A handful of the bits there are stuff that I bought over last time, including all those old chairs, yellow frame. Bit of a ladder behind that coil of wire. That wire's also supposed to go. Nabbed a few bits. It's an oven door. Might a few levers in that. That sheet metal's actually quite thick and quite good. Steel posts, it's not too bad. It's a bit short, but I have used shorter ones for tree guards. Mesh always comes in good for dehydrating racks. I even used to throw mesh like that straight into concrete to give it a bit of a, you know, a bit more strength. Might come in handy for something related to gasifiers because it's perfectly round, and I have a feeling it's actually cast iron, which is also what you want related to gasifiers. The rain's starting to set in a bit now. Well, not setting in, but well, actually it might. I've got to wait it out for a little bit. With gasifiers, things get very hot. That if you use like your 1/8 inch or 3.5 mil steel, there are times where it'll go right through that steel inside the device. It may take it 6 months or whatever. So a lot of times people try and use cast iron and stainless steel because it can handle the better temperatures, the higher temperatures rather. It's better at handling high temperatures than you just run-of-the-mill bog standard 3.5 mil mild steel. Alrighty. We got a fair bit on. Not as much as I would like. All the loosest stuff in the 5-gallon drums. Really should have been put on after I put the mattresses on, but I put the mattresses on, then I went to my father's and made sure I got all his gear, bunch of screws and whatever in, it's a oven, was an oven framing, well, oven insides, and then threw on some of his wire, then come back and I've tried to pack the heavier stuff up the front and a bit down the back, and can't really get the drums in that well, and then started on my own wire. Even there's the mattresses, that's his wire there. Started a bit of my own wire. It's just in such a bloody colossal tangle, it's a shitstorm to even get it out. And I've got rid of some of these tins, 5-gallon buckets and other buckets, but not that one there. A lot of this stuff, by the time I got to putting it in, it was so high up, I'm worried that it's just going to blow out the sides through the mesh there. But with a bit of luck, as I drive, it'll settle down, and it usually does settle down after the first few miles. But this is annoying because it's all like a big fucking bird's nest. I don't want to come out. So I've got to try and string pieces out and probably snip it into all little foot-long bits and try and jam it in, and then hope that that settles to the bottom and doesn't slip out through the mesh, blah, blah, blah. Ooh. What'd you do that for, cat? Anyway, there's a few bits there likely to go in. Sorry about the bloody wind. It's always blowing just enough to piss off the microphone, but never enough to actually generate any electricity or anything like that. As you can see, I've got quite a few bits of sheet metal in here. These have only been in here for the last few minutes. This is just my attempt to store these for later so they go on the bottom later with a second trip. Because if I put them on the top now, no doubt, it's just going to blow straight through the mesh anyway. So, yeah, I'll try and get this on the back. Probably put the rest of the sheet metal bits in here, and then next time around I'm going to throw all this sheet metal crap and a bit of the sheet metal my father's got, which he had a few sheets there, on the bottom. Then have a go at his wire, any more wire I've got, which I've got another piece of chicken wire I've got to pick up out in the paddock. I've got some there, some in the back of that shitty little white truck that realistically should be going to scrap metal too, but somebody says no, they want the motor out of it, and I said I'll take the motor out of it, and they say, oh, not now, I'm too busy, and I said I'll do it. Nah, we're going to hang on to the heap of crap a bit longer. I'm hoping that when the winter comes and I get a shed to myself, I might be able to pull the engine out of the bloody thing anyway. Oh, we don't know if it's going to work. Oh, it'll be fine. It was running friggin'... Oh, well, 10, 12 years ago it was running. I think it'll turn over fine. It's just sitting there. It's all enclosed. But anyways, all this shit and what he's got left over there, probably realistically, I'm going to have to do a second trip. And, you know, as I just said, the other chicken wire I got, it's going to most likely be a second trip. It mightn't be a terribly full one. I'm not saying this one's going to be completely full either, but, you know, there's stuff that you got to sort of prioritise. Your small stuff for the bottom, and especially a little bits of metal like this for the bottom, and then your other stuff for the top. Your heavy stuff also has to go down near the bottom too. And yeah,